Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled at the edge of a vast and ancient forest, there lived a young man named Armaan. He was known for his adventurous spirit, his kind heart, and his insatiable curiosity. While most villagers lived simple, cautious lives, Armaan often found himself dreaming of the unknown, yearning for mysteries to solve and tales to unravel. For as long as Armaan could remember, the villagers spoke in whispers about a mysterious glass palace hidden deep within the forest. Some said it was built by a powerful sorcerer centuries ago. Others claimed it was a trap laid by the spirits of the forest to ensnare the unwary. But the most intriguing tale of all was that of a woman, said to be more beautiful than the moonlight, trapped within the mysteries of the glass whenever they found it, and kept busy gradually. Yet no one dared to enter the forest to confirm these rumors. Those who had tried had never returned. Despite the warnings, Armaan couldn't shake his fascination with the glass palace. One crisp morning, as the sun rose over the village, he made up his mind. Armed with nothing but his courage and a small satchel of provisions, he set off into the forest, determined to uncover the truth. The journey was not an easy one. The forest was dense with ancient trees that loomed like silent sentinels, their branches weaving a thick canopy overhead. Sunlight barely pierced through, casting eerie shadows on the forest floor. Strange noises echoed around him, the rustling of leaves, the distant calls of unseen creatures. But Armaan pressed on, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. Hours turned into an entire day, and just as the first stars began to appear in the twilight sky, Armaan saw it. The glass palace stood before him, glistening in the faint moonlight like a giant jewel. Its walls were made entirely of shimmering crystal, reflecting every ray of light in a dazzling array of colors. It was more magnificent than he had ever imagined. As he approached the grand doors, they swung open as if inviting him in. Cautiously, Armaan stepped inside, his breath catching at the sight before him. The palace's interior was a world of wonders. Chandeliers of pure crystal hung from high ceilings, mirrors adorned every wall, and the floors sparkled as though they were paved with stars. But the most breathtaking sight of all was the woman sitting on a throne of glass. She had long, flowing hair that seemed to shimmer like gold, and her eyes were as deep and mysterious as the night sky. Her name, as he would soon learn, was Elena. She looked at him with a mixture of surprise and sorrow. "Who are you, and why have you come here?" she asked, her voice as soft as a lullaby, yet heavy with sadness. "I am Armaan, from the village beyond the forest," he replied. "I've come to uncover the truth about this palace." Elena sighed, her gaze dropping to the floor. "Then you've made a grave mistake," This palace is not a place for the living. It is a prison, a trap woven with magic. No one who enters leaves unscathed. Armaan stepped closer, undeterred. Then why am I still standing here, unharmed? Elena looked up, a flicker of hope in her eyes. Because you are different. Your heart is pure, untouched by greed or malice. But even purity has its limits. You should leave before it's too late. And Armaan couldn't bring himself to leave. Something about Elena captivated him, pulling him closer. Over the days that followed, he stayed in the palace, learning about her and the curse that bound her. Elena had been trapped by an ancient sorcerer who envied her beauty and kindness. The mirrors and glass that made up the palace were enchanted, designed to imprison her and ensnare anyone who tried to help her. Yet, despite the sorrow that surrounded her, Armaan saw a spark of light in Elena, a longing to be free, to live a life beyond the palace walls. The two grew closer, sharing stories, laughter, and dreams of a world where curses didn't exist. Armaan began to feel something he had never felt before, a deep, unshakable love for the woman trapped within the glass palace. One day, while exploring the palace's vast library, Armaan discovered an old book hidden among the shelves. Its pages were worn, its text written in a language that seemed to glow with magic. As he studied it, he realized it held the secret to breaking the curse. But the cost was steep. Freedom required a sacrifice. Someone had to willingly offer their own heart, proving that love was stronger than the darkest magic. Armaan's heart raced as he closed the book. Could he do it? Could he make the ultimate sacrifice for Elena's freedom? With his luck for Elena, he could bring peace to another continent. Armaan couldn't shake the words from the book from his mind. For days he pondered the decision, his love for Elena growing with every moment they spent together. He knew what he had to do, but the weight of the choice filled him with both determination and fear. One evening, as the moonlight bathed the palace in a soft glow, Armaan approached Elena. She was standing by a large window, gazing at the forest beyond the world she had not seen in centuries. "Elena," he said softly, holding the book in his hands, "I've found a way to free you." She turned to him, her eyes wide with hope. But as she read the words on the page, her expression shifted to one of horror. "No, Armaan, I won't let you do this. The cost is too great." "It's a price I'm willing to pay," he replied, his voice steady. "You've spent centuries trapped in this place. If my love can set you free, then it's worth it." Tears filled Elena's eyes. "But what about you? Your life, your dreams." "My only dream now is to see you free," Armaan said, taking her hand in his. "You've taught me what it means to truly love, and love is about sacrifice." Before she could protest further, Armaan stepped into the center of the room, where a magical circle inscribed in the glass floor began to glow. Placing his hand over his heart, he spoke the words of the spell aloud, offering his love and his life to break the curse. The palace trembled, its walls shimmering as if caught in a storm. The mirrors cracked, and the chandeliers began to dim. Elena cried out, rushing toward Armaan, but a barrier of light held her back. "Armaan, No, she screamed, her voice filled with anguish. But then, something extraordinary happened. Instead of fading away, Armaan stood strong. The magic of the curse, once unyielding, began to dissolve. The mirrors shattered, and the chains of glass that bound Elena broke apart. The palace, once a prison, began to crumble, its magic fading into the night. As the walls fell away, Armaan and Elena found themselves standing in a field of wildflowers, the ruins of the glass palace glittering around them. The villagers, drawn by the commotion, gathered at the edge of the forest, astonished to see them. Elena looked at Armaan, tears streaming down her face. "You saved me," she whispered. "No," he said with a smile, pulling her into an embrace. "We saved each other." Their love became a legend, a tale passed down through generations. The field where the palace once stood became a symbol of hope, reminding everyone that even the darkest curses could be broken by the light of true love.